Hello, friends. This side Anurag Vashisht. Today we are about to discuss the secret of rich people. Even if you'll follow 10%, you could make more that what you can dream. So please listen till the end. So let's start. I was about 15 years of age at the time and was very frustrated in school. I wanted to learn how to become rich. Instead of studying subjects like Money 101 or How to Become Millionaire, I found myself dissecting frog in the science class and wondering how this dead frog would make me rich, feeling absolutely frustrated. I asked my rich dad, why don't they teach us about money in school? Uh, my rich dad smiled and said, why do you ask? I said, I don't see any relevance between what we are required to study in school and the real world. I just want to learn to be rich. So, how is a dead frog going to help me buying a new car? If the teacher would tell me how a dead frog can make me rich, I would dissect thousands of them. Rich Dad laughed aloud and asked, what do they tell you when you ask them about the relationship between dead frog and money? All my teachers say the same thing. You need to get good grades so you can find a safe and secure job. Well, that is what most people want. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be an employee working for someone else. I don't want to spend my life having someone else tell me that how much money I can earn when I can go to work or take a vacation. I want to be free. That is why I don't want a job. For those of you who may not have read Rich Dad and Poor Dad, actually, my rich dad was my best friend's father. Although he was a man who started with nothing and even did not have formal education, he ultimately became one of the most wealthiest man in the state of Hawaii. My poor dad, my real dad, was highly educated man, highly paid government official, but no matter how much money he made, he was broke at the end of every month and ultimately died broke. One of the reasons I began studying with my rich dad after school, I knew school did not have the answers I was searching for. But my real dad, my poor dad, was the head of education for the state of Hawaii, but he did not know much about money. Because of my rich dad's training, I was able to retire at the age of 47, financially free for the rest of my life. If I had followed my poor dad's advice, the advice of being a good employee until I was 65-year old, I would still be working today, worried about my job security, my pension plans. My poor dad always said, go to school and get good grades. Go to school and get good grades. So you can find a safe and secure job. Whereas, on the other hand, my rich dad advice was totally different. He said, if you want to be rich, you need to be a business owner and an investor. So, what did you study in your school today? I replied, we have been studying the life of Thomas Edison. Oh, that's an important person to study, said Rich Dad. So, did you discuss how he became rich and famous? No, I replied, we only discussed in his inventions like light bulb. Rich Dad smiled. Well, I hate to contradict your teacher, but Edison did not invented the light bulb, but he did perfect it. So why is he credited with inventing it? Actually, there were other light bulbs invented before his light bulb, but the problem was they were not practical. The early light bulbs did not burn long enough. Also, other inventors could not explain light bulbs' commercial value. It means other inventors did not know how to make money from their invention, and Thomas Edison did. And it was his business sense that made him so. many of his inventions so useful to the millions of people. Thomas Edison was more than an inventor. He was the founder of General Electrical and many other major companies. Did your teacher explains that to you? No. I wish they would have. I would have been more interested. Instead, I was bored and wondering how Thomas Edison was relevant to real life. Rich Dad went on to say that Edison dropped out of school because his teacher thought that he was not smart enough to succeed in school. He then took a job selling candies and magazines on the railroads as a young boy. There he developed the sales skill. Soon he began to print his own newspaper in the back of the train. And then he hired a team of boys to sell not only his candies but also his newspaper. He went from being employee to business owner, employing dozens of other boys. Why didn't the teacher tell me that? I would have loved to have heard that story. There is more, Rich Dad said. Edison soon bored of his business on the trains and he began learning how to send Morse code so he could get a job of telegraph operator. Soon, Edison was one of the best telegraph operator. It was what he learned from being a young entrepreneur and a telegraph operator that gave him the edge as a business person and as an inventor of the light bulb. How did being a telegraph operator help him become better businessman? My boy, what made him famous related to the light bulb was his past experience. Being a telegraph operator, he knew what made the inventor of telegraph so successful was because it was a business system, a system of lines, poles, skilled people, and relay stations. As a young man, Edison understood the power of a system. You mean because he was a business person, he realized how important the system was? Rich dad nodded. Most people go to school to learn to be an employee of a system. So many fail to see the big picture. So they see the trees and not the forest. So most people work for the system rather than own the system. All they see is invention or the product, but not the system. What made the light bulb powerful was not the light bulb, but the system of electrical lines and the relay station that powered the light bulb. Another word for system is network. If you really want to learn how to be rich, you must understand the power founder network. The richest people in the world built network. Everyone else is trained to look for work. A network. So if I want to become rich, I need to learn how to build a network. Just look at how John D. Rockefeller became one of the wealthiest men in the world. He did more than just drilling of oil. He built a network of gas stations, delivery trucks, ships, and pipelines. He became so rich and powerful because of his network that the US government forced to break his network, calling it a monopoly. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, you must have known that, which eventually became a telephone network called AT&T, and later came radio network, television network. So why doesn't our school system teaches us build a network? Rich dad said, I don't know. I think because most people are just happy to find a job working as an employee of a large network. I did not make as much money early in my life because it takes time to build network. For 5 years, I made much less than my peers did. However, after 10 years, I was far richer than most of my classmates, even ones that went on to become doctors and lawyers. Today, I earn far more than they could even dream of earning. History is filled with stories of rich and famous people who built network. Look, when trains were invented, many people became rich. The same is true for airplanes, ships, cars, retail stores such as Walmart, The Gap, Radio Shack. Today, Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, who became rich plugging in an operating system into IBM's network. Beatle became famous worldwide due to the power of radio, television, and record store network. Sports star earn millions of dollars due to the power of television and radio network. The internet, which is the latest worldwide network, has made many people millionaire and even a few people billionaire. Right? Most of us have heard the saying, birds of same feather flies together. Well, that holds true for rich people, for poor people, and for middle class people. Actually, rich network with rich, poor network with poor, and middle class hang out with middle class. If you want to become rich, you need to network with those who are rich or who can help you becoming rich. By the age of 15, I knew that one way for me to become rich, how to network with people. Yet to many of my classmates, what made sense to them to get good grades and get a safe, secure job. At the age of 15, I decided that I would seek friendship of friends who were interested in becoming rich. The idea of being aware whom you spend time with. I began choosing my friends and my teachers very carefully. So, friends, the crux is you can either choose to work for a network by being an employee or can work for long 40 and 50 years for someone else and at last broke or create your own network or system which will work for you. And another thing is the people with whom you hang out with actually decides your destiny. So choose them carefully. Thank you very much, and if you like, please subscribe. Thank you so much.